So this is a new MMORPG server on Minecraft known as Runic Realms, introduced to me by Quint, so thank you, Quint. And it's currently in open beta if you would like to try it, but don't expect anything too fleshed out yet because it is, after all, a beta. But even when your server's in beta, nothing's stopping me from being a little sugar honey iced tea and destroying everything with sarcasm. And this dungeon right here is gonna be no different. As shown outside, you need to be at least level 10 before you're allowed into this area. And there's also a quest, I forget which one it is, that you need to do prior to being allowed in here. But you need to do that as well. But this first room, you just need to kill 10 of these guys, and it may seem daunting at first because they're probably the first thing you've encountered to actually have a spell. But since the grade A strategy of circle strafing still exists, just keep circle strafing and you will not get hit by them. Now that you've gotten the 10 keys you need, you can go to the gatekeeper and proceed through the rest of the dungeon. Oh, by rest of the dungeon, I mean you get to proceed a single room, because later we're gonna have to go get more keys. But then you're greeted with this parkour, and honestly, this jump right here is the hardest jump to make. The number of times I've barely managed to miss the slime block and go back to the start as a result is really something astounding. Outside of that one slime block jump though, there's really nothing you need to worry about in terms of how good you have to be at parkour in order to complete this. And honestly, that slime block jump isn't really that bad, but I'm gonna pretend like it is anyway. These mobs have what I refer to as the flame burst ability, where after roughly 10 seconds, or maybe exactly 10 seconds, they do a flame burst that on the ground that just, surrounds them in fire. You can still just circle strafe around them, but you might want to make a little bit of distance between you and them once they start charging up that flame burst, because it may barely manage to tap you with the very last pixel, causing you to get knocked upward briefly, as well as taking damage. And then all of a sudden, all 5 of them are on top of you, and that's just not okay. Once you kill 10 of them, you just go to the collector in there and give him your 10 keys, and then you get TP to the boss. Now, before you even think about attacking the boss, run to the end of the room and collect the chests. I haven't done this dungeon in a group before, but the likelihood of you being able to collect those chests when you're fighting the boss is very slim. Typically the chests don't give you a lot, but they'll sometimes give you a potion or two that may aid you in your fight against the boss. The boss can be surprisingly difficult though for first timers to the dungeon itself, because the way his meteor works, as opposed to the mobs you fought earlier with meteor, is he fires 3 of them at once, and they are all very far ranged. Meaning he could be on probably the opposite side of the arena and still manage to hit you with his meteors. He also has the flame burst attack, which still has a rough 10-second cooldown. But the hardest part about the boss outside of his meteors are these books. Because these books are in fact pretty much as fast as you. If they manage to knock you up even once into the air while you run around the boss, there is a pretty high chance that it will end in you getting hit by many more things than just that one-time hit. For example, they could knock you up into the air, which ultimately leads to you cascading downward into one of his meteors, or it could very well just keep you in a stun lock as all 3 of them keep walloping you. Oh, I died. Right, okay, I'm gonna go back to the boss, give me 1 second here. But yeah, fighting this boss really comes down to what I call the circle strafe and pray. I don't know if you can push him into the fire. I have tried before, but it didn't really seem to work. But if you can do that and he does indeed take fire damage, that probably makes this fight a lot easier. The only two classes I've managed to solo this boss on are indeed Mage and Warrior, because unfortunately at the moment the only way you can change your class is by swimming all the way back to the tutorial island, which, okay, that's annoying, but that's not terrible. But when you switch your class, this means your character is now back at level 0, but the problem lies where you now can do no quests you've already done, because the game registers that even though you did in fact switch classes, you've already done those specific quests, so you're not allowed to do them again for XP, which means lots of grinding. Once you complete it though, you do get a significant chunk of XP, and depending on your RNG, you could get a very useful drop for armor as well. Not sure how difficult the dungeon is with more than one person though, so this is an MMORPG after all, it kind of wants you to go with other people. But I'd assume the boss in particular is a lot easier with more than one person. Oh no, I just died after walking out of the dungeon. Why do I do this to myself? But yeah, if you want to check out this server, the IP will be in the description. I believe it's compatible with versions 1.9 through 1.14, but for some reason it will only work for me if I'm on 1.13 or 14. That just might be a me problem though, I'm not sure with that one. But besides that, no downloads are required in order to play it. But now I'm gonna go do a quest I just unlocked, because quests, as far as I'm aware, are the best way to get XP. Outside of this mummy spot people keep referring to, I have no idea what they're talking about, but it's apparently very good.